Good morning, everyone. This is Jamie Broderick. I am the founder of Above the Crowd, which is a platform building program to help entrepreneurs play a higher game and become the leaders that they are meant to be. Today, I am joined by some incredible entrepreneurs who are here to make connections and gain visibility. So I'm going to have each of them introduce themselves, talk about their ideal client, talk about their unique value proposition, which is basically the results they get to solve the problems the clients have in their unique way, right? So everyone has been given worksheets to prepare, and everyone can keep track of all the comments made by each attendee, and think about, as each person is talking, think about who you could connect them to. So somebody may want to be connected to clients. I'm sure everyone wants that. But maybe there's media connections someone's looking for, or strategic partners, referral partners, joint venture partners, somebody that can put them in front of an audience. So just pay attention to what everyone's looking for and just kind of brainstorm ideas for each person, and then we can share. So each person's going to have 10 minutes to talk. And I'm going to start with Jill. Take it away, my friend.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jill Wickner. I am a copywriter and a content marketing strategist whose happy place is showcasing unique voice and message through strategic storytelling and personality-packed content that connects and converts. So I help entrepreneurs and small business owners to grow more engaged and connected audiences through impactful, high converting copy that beautifully captures your voice and captivates your audience and is also optimized to help grow and market your business. And let's see, so my ideal clients, like I said, they're business owners and entrepreneurs, and they know the importance of effective copy, but they want someone to be able to come in and handle it for them because they either don't have the time, some of them just flat out don't like to write, they're not trained in search engine optimization, they don't know what to write about, and they really want to spend their time growing and scaling their businesses. And they just see this as something extremely overwhelming that they don't have time to do all on their own. So I come in and free up time for them. And they also, something important for my ideal client is, in addition to just having someone come in and create content for them, they want guidance in what the heck to do with it once they have it. So where do they market it? How do they effectively market it? So that it's always kind of running on autopilot in the background. So while they're focusing on growing their businesses, they know they have effective copy that's working for them at all times.
Jill, do you work with service providers or product sellers, or both?
Both.
Okay. And can you share with everyone, I know one of your differentiators is the strategy work that you do up front for every client. Can you tell us a little about that so people are aware? Because that's huge value.
So the strategy work, that's part of it. That really ties into creating content that not only captures the personality and the unique voice of my client, but that is set up in a way that it attracts the right people. So for example, if it's your website copy or your blog posts or your email marketing, it pulls in your ideal audience and it helps you to convert to prospects to clients. It helps you to grow your email list, increase your Google rankings, and basically increase your online visibility in a way that positions you as an expert and builds trust with your audience, because once people trust you and feel connected with you, that's when your copy really, you really bring in the right people and grow that connection and that engagement.
So I've heard one of the objections I've heard about using a copywriter is that they're afraid that their voice won't get captured. What do you have to say about that, my friend?
Well, that is one of my differentiators. The way I work with a client, we do a comprehensive process in the beginning through questionnaires and conversations where I get to know the client and I'm able to capture their voice so that they have a client that sounds like them. So it's strategic and it's high converting, but it sounds natural and their voice and personality shine through, which is important.
It's great. Anything else you want to talk about as far as client or UVP?
Let's see, I had some notes here. Yeah, one of the big things, a lot of people that I work with, they tell me that they previously were embarrassed to show off their copy because they felt that the content undermined their expertise. So I work with clients that they have copy that they're proud to show off. It sounds natural, their voice is captured, and again, it makes that emotional connection, because when you can combine the strategic and the emotional components of copy, that's when it's the most effective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, content is a big piece of your platform. It's huge.
Can we jump in with questions at all?
I was just going to say that. You're so smart, Laura.
I would love to hear, do you just produce the content, or is there a social media management piece to it?
I do.
Or do you partner with a social media manager person?
So I don't partner with anyone. So when I'm working with a client, I'm the one who's actually creating the content and providing the strategy recommendations. I do work with clients for social media and put a strategy together for them, help them create content. Sometimes they come to me just looking for that overall strategy. What platform should they be posting on, how frequently, what type of content, and then they might pass that along to a virtual assistant or a social media manager who they already have in place.
Yeah, I think Laura was wondering if you're actually doing the posts and schedules, and that's a no, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't actually do the posting myself.
But she lays out step by step the whole action plan. That's awesome. Any other questions from everyone about who she serves, problem solved, solutions, differentiators? Okay, Jill, what kind of connections are you looking for? What kind of introductions? Who and why?
Of course, I'm looking for client prospects. I would love to meet some new people who I can help support, media connections, and anyone who's looking for a podcast guest. With this industry, I'd love to meet that person, and possibly strategic partners as well, even if it's someone who's not ready to jump into something right at this moment, but to meet someone who might want to work with a copywriter to put something out there, a program. A lot of times it's a photographer or a website designer or someone who is just a natural fit to work with a copywriter and create something to put out there.
Mm-hmm. So tell us what kind of podcasts you've been on so we know what kind of podcasts you're looking for. What's a good fit for you?
I think a good fit, I was recently a guest on Robin Graham's The Second Phase podcast, which was great. She speaks with people and kind of combines life and work and entrepreneurship. So I think whether it's someone who's looking for information and insight around copywriting, or to help people who are trying to grow their businesses through the right copywriting strategies, anything that could tie in that way, I think would be ideal. Okay.
Yeah, I would think any entrepreneur platform or leadership voice kind of message. And what kind of, we're also, in addition to sending you connection ideas, we're going to each be making a personal connection to someone for Jill. We're also going to post something online. So is there a certain blog post or social post that you'd like us to comment or share? Anything you want us to, at a minimum, we can all share each other's profiles, or we can talk about how we met each other, the impact it had on what you heard this person talk about. So is there something specific you had in mind that would be incredible for us to share online for you?
I think maybe anything that I currently have out on my LinkedIn profile would be great. I have a blog post out that I would absolutely love if anyone would like to share, or any post just about capturing voice and combining strategy and emotional components of copywriting. But even just any post that I have out a recent post on LinkedIn would be wonderful.
Okay. Yeah, I would think something like capturing voice would be big for Susan. You could totally tie that into what you do. You're your audience. And Laura is a branding person, so there's a connection there as well. That's awesome. Yeah, so be creative. Anyone have any ideas coming to mind on how we can help Jill Wickner? Who's been writing down? Good morning, Dawn, by the way. Hi, Chris. Yeah.
Hi. Jill, I think you really said something profound about capturing voice and providing strategy. To me, it's almost like a tagline for you, you know, because it is so hard for other people, I think, to, you know, express themselves in a way that captures their passion or their voice. And I think that for me, that really spoke to me, and in a way, because my work is very mission driven. And so I think that there are a lot of people I know who it would resonate with them. So I would, when I do my post on LinkedIn, I would definitely incorporate that.
Great, thank you so much.
That's awesome. Yeah, we want these to be authentic posts. So whatever strikes you in your heart about what really resonates with you is what we want to share, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have 45 seconds left. Anyone want to jump in? Dawn, you know Jill pretty well. Anything you want to share with the group that maybe Jill didn't mention?
Jill, my biggest thing with you is that you are so thoughtful. And you really take the time to understand and know somebody. And I remember, you know, you said that one word to me around my logo, and it was just edgy, and that allowed me like a whole like new way to look at something. It was just one word, and it was perfect. And so I love that about you.
Thank you, Dawn. Thanks.
That's so nice.
That's very sweet. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we always like to hear about what other people, how we're perceived by other people, right? Because who knows, right? All right, let's see who I have coming up second. You feel good, Jill?
Yeah, I do feel good. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, tell us what your website is so people can look you up online.
I'm at jillwichner.com. So that's Jill, WICHNER.com.
Perfect, perfect. All right, number 2, we got Susan. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. I am an empowerment expert. I'm a speaker, and I'm also a certified clear beliefs coach. And I help moms reconnect to their power, lead with their values, so they can define motherhood for themselves. So my ideal client is a high-achieving working mom. She's writing the rules at work for herself. She feels really good professionally. But when she comes home, she feels tremendous pressure to follow the traditional motherhood roles at home. She knows that she has the power to change things, but she's also conflicted because she feels the societal pressure to follow those roles at home. So she's conflicted, she's unfulfilled, and she knows she wants to change things, but she really doesn't know how. So I work with my clients to help them challenge what's possible for themselves, challenge the stories they have around what it means to be a good mother. Because as you all know, if you're a working mom and you're achieving great things at work, you feel you're already putting your pressure on yourselves professionally, and now you go home and you really feel like you're in a box. And that can cause a lot of internal conflicts and really make you feel unfulfilled. So I work with my clients to help them identify who they want to be for themselves and for their children, and really challenge the stories that they have around that as to what's possible for them in terms of how they're showing up at home, and helping them release the stigma around showing up differently for their kids.
It's big impact. Anyone?
Can I make a comment? Susan,
Yes.
I love this introduction. It's so different from where you were like 6 months ago, and it so resonates with me. And I just, the term you used to use was one where I honestly had to look it up the first time you used it. And I didn't know what it meant, and now I do. And this really resonates with me. So congratulations. I love the transformation that you've made.
Oh, that makes me happy. I'm really glad, Dawn.
Is there anything you can share about your signature program, your process, or your differentiators? Like, what makes you different? I know there aren't a lot of coaches that do exactly what you do, so you're pretty niched, but
yeah,
why
I have
Susan?
Why me? Well, there's two things. The first is, and this is part of also what I was going to talk about, my speaking platform is, I'm a divorced mom I'm also a non-custodial parent, which means that my kids live with their dad. And when my ex-husband and I went through that process of what was going to be the best arrangement for our kids, it became clear that having them stay with their father was great. When I moved out, I had a lot of head trash about what that meant for me as a mom. And I really shrunk inside, and I was completely disempowered, very, very depressed. And what I realized is that I had the power to define who I wanted to be for my kids, how I wanted to show up, what was important to me. And all I had to do was align with that and then find the courage to be that person publicly. Because as moms, there's a lot of shame and stigma about what's expected of you when you become a mom. Even if you're a high-powered professional female executive, you're still expected to follow all the traditional roles of motherhood. But we have the opportunity to create the dynamic that we want with our husbands, if we're married, if we're not, with our ex-husbands, with our children. We get to choose how we're going to show up. So in my signature program, which is the Redefining Motherhood program, we get really, really clear on being connected to really what it is that we want and who we want to be. And then we take a look at the beliefs that are holding you back from becoming that person. We work through that, we release those beliefs and create empowering new ones. And then I help my clients find the confidence and the courage to show up as that person, inside and outside. So that's my program in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you have a freebie developed yet to help them start this process?
I'm putting together a values list freebie that's almost done to help women identify what's really, really important to them, and seeing, okay, my values, these are my values, but even though I hold these values, I'm not aligning with them at all. I'm acting completely differently from who it is that I really am. And that's where the conflict begins. And so how can we change that where you're completely aligned with the person who you want to be?
Anyone have questions on what Susan does, who she serves, or how she helps?
Well, I can just jump in and say, Susan, I know Dawn spoke from the point of view of having known you and where your messages come. I've just met you and your message is beautiful. Like, I'm probably similar to your target demographic, and it really totally hits home. So that was a great pitch.
Thank you very much.
I would say I'm not your target demographic. I don't have kids, and I don't, I've never experienced the things you're talking about, but it was really clear to me who your ideal client was, who you were trying to reach, and what you were offering. And I think that's great. I mean, it doesn't resonate with me because that's not my experience, but that doesn't mean that I didn't think it wasn't powerful or clear, it was all those things. It was a very powerful pitch that you gave. I don't want to call it a pitch. That doesn't,
right.
I'm curious, are you doing anything for kind of surrounding COVID? Because I think it's such a powerful time right now where women are being pushed back into these roles of motherhood. It's becoming very, prominent.
Yeah, there was actually just an article in Working Mother about this very topic, and how, even at home, now the kids are at home, dad is still, dad goes into the home office for 10 hours a day and he cannot be interrupted, but working moms are now left with everything else. And they're afraid that we're going to shrink back to where we used to be, and that's just how society is going to pull us down. So I know that there is an opportunity for me to really be out in front and more visible on this issue. So I saw that article this morning, and I had planned to write something and post that on LinkedIn as well to bring attention to it.
I'm sure Dawn could chime in on what it's like to be an executive working at home.
Yeah, but my husband's the one who does everything. I'm the one you don't want to disturb. So
that's awesome.
But I fit into, Susan, your your idea of not fitting into the stereotypes of women and all of those things. So I completely resonate with that piece of it. And I agree with Laura that this is just crazy right now. And what your, the relationship with your children, I've been calling it intimate. You know, spending 24/7 for months with the 12 and 13-year-olds has become very intimate and challenging and fun at the same time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Susan, what kind
Susan,
of...
are you just, sorry, are you going to do any like group stuff, or is it just individual?
Right now it's just individual, but I am putting together a group that I hope to start once we figure out what's happening with the school year, that it'll probably start somewhere in October, November.
Very cool. What kind of introductions are you looking for? And is there something specific you want promoted?
Introductions would obviously be for anybody who really resonates with my message. So any client prospects. I also want to do more speaking around this issue. I've done a couple of talks about this already, and I had the talk that I did back in March for Speakers Who Dare, where I basically explain how I became a non-custodial parent, why I made that choice, and I share that it's important that all moms be able to make the decision as to how they want to show up in the world, not only professionally, but also with their children. I really want, and I was on a podcast recently, actually it was a Facebook Live show, where I was talking about how even as parents divorce, there is still pressure, right? That the kids belong with mom and that mom has to play a certain role. And someone had expressed to me that this was something that was very, very important, that parents feel that they have the freedom to design a parenting dynamic that works for them post-divorce without stigma, that they can feel good about. Oftentimes that's not the case. The moms feel pressure to have the kids. Most of the time, the dads feel pressure to act a certain way, and they're actually going against what's best for the kids. So I would also like, if there's a podcast that you guys think would be useful for me to talk about that message, I really want to talk more about that as well.
That's perfect. So we're out of time, but if you have quickly, you could tell us which post or any certain content or anything you'd like us to say about you online.
I have on LinkedIn, I have my Speakers Who Dare video. And I think that that's really powerful and explains the platform.
Okay, there we go. Let's see, who do we have next? Is it Trina, I believe? Yes, go for it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Trina, and I'm owner of Freedom Coaching. And I am about bridging the gap for women on a journey of awakening. So I have been on my own journey of awakening for about 15 years. And to me, that means I'm just passionate about helping people live awake. I think COVID has given us a blessing in that many people are asking themselves, am I happy with who I am? What's important to me? Am I happy with my work? And so Bridge the Gap coaching that I do with women, my ideal client is any woman over 25 on up who is looking at a new beginning, a new journey. And they are looking to show up in the world in a bigger, better, new way. And they need a guide, somebody that can guide them from point A to point B. And what I'm passionate about is helping them to unlock their potential by helping them to elevate their self-awareness. I think that's the key to everything. As we know, when we become more self-aware, it can help us move in any direction that we want to move. For me, I have grown up, my ideal client would be somebody who has grown up in a tight religious community. For me, it's been about undoing some of those conditioning and beliefs that have held us back. I appreciate, Susan, that you talked about the rules. You know, we have different rules in the workplace than we do at home. So my work with women in the process is really heart-centered. It's connecting them with the unique language of their heart. It's helping them listen to their longings. For me personally, I grew up in a community that didn't honor a woman's needs and wants. And so my work is really about helping women connect with who they are, their true selves at their core. And through my process, it's a lot of soul work. It's helping them get clear on what they want, and then helping them make that become a reality, that new expanded reality. So whether that's they want a new, healthier body, or they want to start a new business, or start a new career, or even a new relationship with themselves, or with the divine, or a new aspect of a relationship with someone else. So I'm really here to help them, be a guide by their side as they are on this journey of rediscovering and igniting their passion for their life, and having a playfulness around that. So I am, my distinctives are that I've have the wisdom and life experience of this unraveling, or this awakening journey, as well as I've had over 20 years of experience in different areas of coaching. So I provide the expert coaching along with the experience. I call myself a fellow traveler along the way, just maybe 1 or 2 steps ahead of them. I call myself, a wounded healer. I'm helping provide hope for people on this journey who are trying to get from A to B. As I said, I combined my own personal experience along with spirituality and psychology. I offer personal coaching as well as coaching circles. I do a personal spa for the soul retreat, which is a half-day retreat for women. It can include Reiki, can include personal life coaching. It can include an activity that kind of speaks to them and they just want company or companionship on that. It can be yoga. So we can do a lot of different things in that spa for the soul. And one event that's coming up for me in the fall that I would love if you all would promote is called a Soulbatical. It is a full day retreat for people to, again, connect again and listening. It's an event where I'm going to be working with a woman who is a best-selling cookbook author. She has a beautiful space up in Regalsville, Pennsylvania. And we're going to be doing a day-long retreat where people can really connect with who they are. There's going to be some yoga, some journaling, some group activities, where it can be a place to really connect with their soul and listen to their heart and help them listen to those longings and figure out what the next steps are for them.
How are you managing the COVID at that event?
Well, it's still on as of now. But
well, there's a way to do it, but
yeah, we may need to limit the number of participants.
Hmm.
So far it's still happening. So that's happening in September 24th. So I'm looking to connect with small business owners who connect with a lot of women who are looking for someone that can help them in their transition.
What would be the first step for someone? Do you have like a freebie like Susan's creating about perhaps like a happiness assessment comes to mind for me? Yeah,
I mean, I think what's most important to me is, again, the values, as Susan mentioned, getting in touch with their values, but also their needs. What are some of their needs that they're looking for in their life, and getting those needs met in healthy ways.
Mm-hmm. Would you say your biggest takeaway is happiness? That's the big result at the end?
That is the big result at the end, yes.
Yeah, so I would
connecting
think
their longing.
Yeah, so your freebie may include the word happiness. So that's going to attract people looking for happiness.
Yeah, right. Are you happy with who you are? Are you happy with the work you're doing? Are you happy with your relationships? Yeah.
Anyone have questions for Trina?
I actually have a question. Susan, what is your website? Because she didn't give that out at the end of her deal, and I want
everyone can totally share. Yeah, everyone should share it here, but I'm also going to tag everyone and put every website below. So, but Susan, okay, go ahead.
I want to get all my info.
Oh, it's thesusaneckstein.com. ECKSTEIN.
Okay.
Anyone have questions for Trina about who she serves, what she does? Brand new website coming. That's exciting.
I
August 1st.
do.
I think that's what you should have us promote.
Yes, yeah. If you can promote that once it comes out, and I'm still working on my messaging. So yes, thank you for promoting that, and also the Soulbatical event if that's still happening live.
Okay.
And when is the Soulbatical event?
The Soulbatical is September 24th.
Okay. Yeah, her copywriter is Marissa Polselli, who is my copywriter as well. Copywriters in the house, right, Jill? Yeah. Marissa is actually the lead instructor of Above the Crowd Intensive, which some of you are a part of, which is a 5-week program to build your online platform as a leader and expert. So what else can we do for you, Trina? Do you have any questions for us?
No, again, I think the value that I bring to women is the self-awareness and helping them be heart-centered leaders in their lives. And I think when they do that, when they're heart-centered leaders, leading from their wants, needs, and desires, and making those things happen into a new reality, it creates ripple effects. And that's really my passion, is helping people, you know, live their best life, which in turn transforms into making a difference in their families and in their communities and their workplaces.
So what adjectives would your clients or people that know you well use about you?
They would say that I'm wise and I'm attentive and I'm courageous, and they want to also have those words to be described about them.
I love it. Very self-aware. That's good. You have completed your journey. Any final questions or comments before we move on? 1 minute left.
And my website currently is freedomcoaching.life.
And it will be what?
It will be katrinastutzman.com.
With a K?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right. Let's see. Who's number 4? Is that you, Chris?
Yes, it is.
All right.
I am Chris Hansen, and I'm the owner of Dwell Community Consultants, which is a mission-based consulting firm promoting affordable housing for all. I provide comprehensive and solution-based program and project management. What my value proposition is that I am a creative problem solver. I come up with solutions. A lot of projects and programs get stalled because people try to sort of, hit their head against the wall expecting a different solution. And I come up with unique solutions for making the projects go forth and get completed. And I am a problem solver. My ideal client is a for-profit or nonprofit developer of affordable housing. I currently have most of my clients in New York City, although I'm starting to expand to other regions. So that's sort of my ideal client and the problems I solve.
You said you're a problem solver. So explain to me exactly what struggles they have.
Well, for instance, there are programs that they have to utilize through the city of New York, for example, and they're very highly structured. And in this current environment, for example, things are not going as they normally would. And so I've spent a lot of time with my clients coming up with alternative routes to get the projects done, to keep them affordable. These projects are all what would be known as preservation projects. So they're preserving affordable housing in the city of New York, which is, more now than ever. The need is so great. So I don't let them just keep saying, well, it's not going to work. My view is we're going to figure out a way to make it work. And this is how we're going to do it.
So are you a strategist, or do you actually work with like politicians, or you just call yourself someone that cuts through the red tape?
I'm a strategist. I mean, it's not really politicians. It's really career bureaucrats at the city of New York. And it is all about building relationships with people. I'm really good at building those relationships. So I think a lot of people, almost all my clients are men, and I think their point of view is to just charge ahead and, we're going to just make this happen this way. And I take a more strategic and probably softer approach, where I build relationships with the people that we need to get the projects done, instead of getting on the phone and yelling at them. It just doesn't work. And so I just really, I'm really good at building the relationships with people so that it's more of a team effort as opposed to us versus them.
The world needs more of that, Chris, in any manner we can get it.
Yes.
Very cool. How did you get into this?
I have been, my first job was at a nonprofit that in Washington, D.C. that did low-income housing development. And I've done some aspect of it for my entire career.
Very, very cool. I know you're in Charleston, correct?
Yeah, outside of Charleston, yeah.
Yeah. How are you holding up with South Carolina? Yeah.
It's we've been at least in the Charleston area, people have been wearing masks and have been quarantined just like New York or Pennsylvania was doing since March. It's just we get a lot of visitors who act like they don't have to wear a mask or can have 50 family members at the beach. So it's hard. And it was hard at first with my New York clients, but I really, I spent a lot of time giving them extreme client care. I wasn't, because nothing was moving and they were freaking out. And I have to say I freaked out a little bit in the first 2 weeks, but I would just spend a lot of time emailing them and calling them and saying, how's it going? What do you think we can add? What do you think we can work on? And that's really paid off because I have really deep relationships, I think, with my clients now. And I get a lot of referrals from them and also a lot of additional projects through them.
Okay. So anyone have questions about what Chris does?
Because my mother still doesn't even understand it, so don't feel
Well, that's a generation thing.
Well, yeah.
So I've told my aunt 15 times. I refuse to tell her anymore. Anyway.
She just says sort of, Chris, you just explain it to them. And then I get the glassy eye view. But anyway.
Anyone have questions or super crystal clear, like they say in that awesome movie, which I can't remember the name of, Tom Cruise.
Chris, who is a good person? So, I don't know developers, but who are the people that I could, put you in front of that would know those type of people, like segues?
Lawyers are a really good source, real estate lawyers, or even because they have clients. I actually have gotten clients from before I got, in the last 2 years, I've gotten, I formed my company and I wasn't just loosey-goosey consulting. But lawyers have been a really good gatekeeper for me. They've been really, because they work with clients and I've known many of these people for 15 years because I've worked on projects with them. So they know what it's like to work with me. And so they can recommend me because of that.
Another question, are you concentrated more in New York? Because I know city developing laws vary from area to area.
I've also worked in, Maryland a lot. I have a lot of connections there in DC, and now I just found my first client in South Carolina. So it is different in you're right, in the laws and things like that, but the process is the same everywhere, pretty much, probably worldwide.
So you're looking for contacts anywhere, not just in the New York City area?
Yeah, I'm looking for more client prospects and even maybe a strategic partnership, perhaps with, someone who needs assistance. They have, a lot of people that my clients have staff, but they don't have enough staff to do everything. And so they hire me to sort of fill gaps. So that's something else that I one of the things that I provide.
So you've written grants, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And that's my side gig. I write grants for people. And I've done large applications for like the Department of Housing and Community Development. which is as boring as it sounds. And yeah, so I've written, I write a lot of grants, and that's sort of my side gig because it's easy for me to write the grants. But the real estate development is sort of my bread and butter.
What percentage of New York City is low income housing? Do you know? Is that it?
I don't know the percentage, but that's a really good question and probably something I should figure out.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Anyone have any other questions, or is there a certain content or that you want us to share, Chris? Certain message?
I'm, as you know, I need to clean up my act on LinkedIn. Jamie's been on.
Well, that's what we're going to do in the intensive, my friend.
That's right. I have things that I have been collecting that I can use as posts. And in fact, there was an article in a local real estate journal in New York City that spotlighted 2 of my clients. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, that is, and it's actually a really well done article about them.
Okay, so is that digital?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could post that with some incredible insight by Chris, and then we can take that further. Yeah. Exactly. That would be great.
Yeah, that just happened recently.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. They spotlighted 3 African American developers in New York, and I said, why aren't I working with that third guy?
I love the attitude. That's awesome.
2 of the 3 are mine. But
did you reach out to him?
No, because I talked to one of my clients, and he said, "Oh, he doesn't do anything. He's just a poser."
He's not watching this.
It's every conference. He's not doing anything. And the other thing is that my husband jokes that my ideal client is an African American man in his mid-40s. So that's the other thing. So yes,
good.
I have 14 clients and 12 are men. So it's not.
It's just the way it works.
My work is very male dominated, and I have operated Susan in a male world for a very long time. So I'm sure that's something a lot of your mothers have to deal with too.
Okay, website please.
www.dwellconsultants.com. Oh yeah. Oh no, wait, dwellcommunity.com. That's embarrassing. D-W-E-L.
It's like not knowing your phone number. You don't call yourself.
Exactly. Community.com.
You're right. I love the www. You're dating yourself.
I am. I'm closer to 60 than 50, so.
Oh my gosh. All right. So Dawn, you are up 5th. So that's you. You ready?
Yeah. I'm never as put together as anybody who's gone before me. So I'm Dawn Ellery, and I've been in HR for 25 years. I still have a full-time HR gig, and I'm doing this other piece in my spare time. And so 10 years ago, I had kind of, mental breakdown. And it sounds like, like Susan's ideal client, and Trina without the religious part, but all the other pieces. I was, like, what am I doing here in HR? And I'm sitting in this office and just miserable, and lost my job, and then ended up opening an intimacy boutique or a sex shop, as just give you, and, everyone was like, oh my God, you went from HR to sex shop. And it was absolutely no different. I was talking to people about things they didn't want to talk about. So difficult conversations, whether it's your medical condition, your finance, your performance at work, or it's your sex life and intimacy and relationships. Nobody wants to talk about any of these things, and it's tough for people to do, and avoiding them. Just kind of, you see your life just going by, and your head's down and you're doing your thing. And all of a sudden, you're in your mid-40s where I am. And I just over the past year have really processed, Trina, I completely relate to you. I've just gone through this process myself of, so my platform is Embrace Your Skeletons, because it's really about, stop running away from all of the things in your past that, maybe you thought were bad or shameful, embracing them so that you can move forward, figure out yourself. I have a mom-daughter side to this. I've realized as I have a 12-year-old daughter, and as she grows up, I've been realizing how much I didn't have that mom figure. I didn't have the nurturing mom. And so it almost it was a little paralyzing for many years, trying to figure out how I become, and Susan, completely relate to you. I could be like all of your clients here, relate to the fact of how do I create who I am as a mom, not what everybody else out there thinks I should be. So I have a husband who stay home with the kids. I was like, how quickly can I get back to work? So I never resonated with that piece. So 4 years, we had the shop. My husband worked there with me. It was amazing. It was the first time I created something creative that I got acknowledgement for, which is another thing I realized, I just didn't get that as a young person. I also suffer from depression, and this is something that I finally, not that I didn't know it, I've known it for years, but I kind of owned up to it over the last year and started embracing it so that we could start learning from these things, because in the corporate world, we don't talk about these things. COVID has brought them out to light a little bit more, but it's still something that the corporate world gives lip service to. And part of my belief is that our mental health is really the ground floor to everything for us. As someone in HR, I do wellness. If I put a wellness activity in to help you get more active or lose weight, there's probably a reason you're not being more active and losing weight. And it's not because you don't have an activity challenge. It's probably because there's something else going on with you, and it always seems to relate back to your mental health. So I'm a big mental health champion as far as it from a work perspective. And so I kind of have 3 pieces to my platform, which Jamie, yes, my getting a website. So that'll be, and it'll be dawnellery.com, so that I can have the 3 pieces of it. So there'll be the corporate HR. I think differently than people in the corporate world. People in the corporate world are very much this is how we do it, and they want me to go see how everybody else is doing it, and then we mimic that. And if you're doing that, nobody's moving the ball forward, and we're not growing. So, and I can't do that in the corporate world because they just don't like it. So I'm going to start doing it on my own. And then there's again, the mom-daughter piece where I'm creating a platform just for both other moms and moms with daughters. So you have the mom piece. I realized during Mother's Day this year, I was not the only one who would spend a half hour trying to find a card that didn't say anything other than Happy Mother's Day. You didn't inspire me to do anything. I'm not following in your footsteps with anything. And there's a whole group of people that are like that. But in our society, it's, on Facebook, it's not okay to say, oh my God, you really screwed up my whole childhood. That's not okay. You can only say my mom is awesome and she's my best friend. And that is what I want the relationship for my daughter. But it's amazing how much I didn't realize I had it. So I want to help moms create that. And this age for teenagers, and now you add all this that's going on, is crazy. And I see the relationship that friends of mine are having with daughters, and I see what I had with my mom, and I don't want that for them. So I want to be able to open people's eyes to that. So we have
third. So you have the HR, mental health, mom and daughter.
The mom, daughter, and the other one is just you as a person and all that stuff, embracing all your skeletons. And I am my ideal client. And I say client, I don't want to coach anybody. I do that in HR, just more of the tribe type mentality, opening people's eyes to the fact that you're in your 40s, you don't have to sit around and wait till you're 65 to just get through and hang on to your job. Go out there and do the things you want to do and make a life, and don't don't just hang out.
Okay, so the objective of the platform for a corporate is to change the conversation around mental health. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, and the mother-daughter, the objective there is to develop better relationships between moms and daughters.
Yeah, and moms and daughters, you know, again, that's trying to tie in the embrace your skeletons, which I think does well with the mom and daughters, because as a mom, I have a lot of things in my past that are either shameful or things that I wouldn't own up to, but I don't want my daughter to follow. And instead of teaching her or sharing, most people just get angry and try and keep them from doing it. So they go and do exactly what you don't want them to do. So embrace the skeletons on that side. And then for the individual, again, it's embracing your past so that you can move forward.
Okay, and then once the messaging is clear, then it's about writing your book and speaking,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, yes. So the book is in the works.
Awesome. Okay, so tell us who you'd like to be connected to. What resources would help you move the ball forward, in your own words?
I think, you know, not unlike anybody else here, the podcast type atmosphere, as soon as I get my stuff up and running. I did one, it was, now I can't remember it. Virtual school assembly. It's talking
I've been wondering
to
about that. I've been wondering.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to come out in August or if it'll be next year. He doesn't know what he's doing with that.
Okay.
But it's a guy who just get all different kinds of people, and some. I felt a little small because he's like professional athletes and everything. So anything like that, and really, you know, it's the middle-aged woman.
Okay.
I think is and the mom of the tween teen type timing.
So for the HR mental health message,
Yeah,
what kind of podcast audience you'd be looking for there?
that one I'm a little still iffy. So something I worked through in the last, for those of you who don't know me, is how do I do this while still keeping my job? Because I'm basically saying that, you know, HR and companies are not doing everything they should be doing. So that one I've been a little bit more tentative about. But
So we're
HR,
starting with mom and daughter then?
yeah.
Okay, so you want podcasts that speak with moms who have daughters?
Yeah. Yeah. And once
or
I get my
women empowerment kind of stuff?
Yep. And I'll have draft of my website next week. So I was hoping to get that in place before we started in August so that I could.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you want us to promote before we wrap up?
I think once I get the website up and running.
Okay. What can we promote right now?
Right now. There's so much I could be blogging about right now and doing, and I spend most of my time on LinkedIn right now.
So you want LinkedIn connections so we can talk about how your message and how we met you today and
yes,
resonated. And
if anyone can figure out the message after all of that stuff that I said.
Exactly.
Yes,
that would be a great win to help her hone in on her message. Awesome.
Yep.
Hey man, you got to start executing, and that's how we figure it out.
Yes.
It's really good. It's powerful. Yeah, and I love as Dawn was in my mastermind, well, is again next year too with Jill, and she had this revelation of the format of her book. Tell us in 30 seconds or less how are you going to publish this book? What is it going to look like?
So when I read self-help books, I just like little nuggets, and I love quotes and everything like that. So I finally realized after trying to force myself into writing this book with big chapters and everything that I like to write in that way too. So it's going to be something that's more, you know, quotes and life tidbits more than the chapter type book.
Very cool. What was the word Kristen used to call?
Oh, vignettes.
Vignettes. That's it. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Dawn. We're looking forward to
Thank
that website. It's incredible.
Yay.
All right. We're going to go with Laura. Lindy wasn't able to get on, so I'm actually going to interview Lindy one-on-one, and I'll share a link to that video with you guys so you can help her as well. Laura, last but not least.
Yep. I'm Laura Fravel. My website's just laurafravel.com. And I help women leaders and entrepreneurs build impactful, profitable brands. And I do it more from the branding side of things. So I'm not kind of into the systems or anything. I really help people find their story, own it, and scream it to the world, basically. So I'm a big believer that your story is the foundation of your entire brand. It, dictates your messaging, it dictates your visuals, which most people really don't concentrate on much. And then it also dictates how you're going to share yourself with the world. So whether it be social media or the stage or podcasts, if you know your story, it just makes all of that so much easier. So my ideal client is usually, it's it can span the gamut of women, but usually it's been a lot of women who have left the corporate world. They're on their second or third act. A lot of them have already been in business for 1 to 5 years, and they basically feel like they look and sound like everyone else in their industry. And I think that's what so many small businesses fall into, that trap of trying to chase, or not even consciously, but looking like and trying to be like everybody else in your industry, instead of really embracing your unique value, your personality. So that's where I come from, is really, who are you, what unique value to bring, and then add that dose of personality as well. So I kind of take them, there's kind of 3 steps I take people through, and they sometimes do one or all of them, but the first is just really honing in on, like I just said, your unique value, who you are, what your story is, and I kind of give them a messaging framework which they can run with. The next part is then really helping them produce visuals to go with that, and the third piece would be a strategic plan to put yourself out there. How are you going to share your authority with the world? And kind of my unique value, I come from media. I worked in documentary television journalism for almost 2 decades. So I have interviewed hundreds of people over the phone, in person, and what I just loved the most time and time again was when you help bring out, when you ask them the right questions and you bring someone out and you really dig deep and keep asking the whys. And then as an outsider, you pull that together and then cut away all of the extraneous stuff. You come up with this amazing story, and the confidence and the way people just beam when they hear their story back, told back to them. That's what I love about what I do. And I think then it instills, confidence in the person. They're just able to be more who they are. And I'm also really big, like I said, I've done tons of, it's documentary. I'm really cause driven, purpose driven. I love helping women not just build a profit. That is still very important to me. I think especially as women, we have to be financially stable and go after that. But at the same time, I think we can also be impactful. And I think it's when we really, truly are true to ourselves and our story and put our story out there is when we can help people, from someone in Africa, who walks 4 hours a day to get water, to the woman next door who's, helping the mom or divorcee, really own who she is. So introductions, of course, any client prospects, of course. Podcasts have been a big one I've been starting to go after recently. Webinars and podcasts, guests on either of those. I've done a few podcasts recently for kind of female-centered organizations, everything from entrepreneurs to, I just did one for, it's called Women in Research. It's all these, God, it's like 3,000 members of women who do market research.
Wow.
So any type of female organization I can give a webinar for, or podcasts that focus on female entrepreneurs.
That's a
And then I
really
would,
good fit, the market research niche. That's amazing.
yeah, it was great. And they were so lovely and wonderful to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would love some strategic partners. I'm really big, I set the person up with, this great story and branding, and my big thing is, like I said, a lot of these women have already been in business a while, so they have a website, they have a logo, they don't necessarily need any of that, but they often need, a web person, like a web designer person to help tweak their website. I'm really big on not doing a whole rebrand, that you really can do a lot with messaging and some new photography. So looking at, budget constraints of people, but at the same time, I would love a couple people to pass, systems of behind the business, because I think systems are just as important as branding, as well as a really great, web designer, developer.
So systems meaning tech, or systems meaning processes?
Sorry, say that again.
Tech or processes when you say systems?
Probably a little bit of both. I had a lawyer who was, super big on needing SEO.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of needed an SEO expert. Another person just didn't have any, needed more, a funnel, the tech end of a funnel set up, like with Active Campaign or MailChimp or something like that.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's more,
Yeah.
I guess, the tech side of systems.
Okay. Yeah. Web developer, people familiar with, tech, Active Campaign, that type of thing. And also, social media managers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just someone, I run into a lot of people, we help set up, okay, what they're going to talk about, but then they just get overwhelmed and don't have time to post it. And
okay. So you asked for connections to people for marketing, people to build awareness around you, which is the podcasts and webinars. And you've asked for strategic partners who you could send clients to afterwards. Are there any strategic partners that would send clients to you after they work with them?
Oh, that's true. Yes. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm just seeing a gap there.
I would say web developers who don't do branding, though it seems like a lot of web developers do say they do branding as well. That's a good question. What?
Perhaps coaches that are helping someone start a business.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know you said that usually they're 1 to 5 years in, but you're still at the early part of their journey.
It is, yeah.
Or you rebrand only, or fresh brand, or both?
I've done some fresh brands. The problem I've run into right now with that is I don't have a really fabulous established connections with a web designer or developer to and
okay,
logo.
So rebrand would be somebody that's taking things to, like, launching a whole new thing, like just taking their business to a new level, perhaps.
Right. A lot of times I kind of do a brand refresh. So someone who often doesn't have the money even to, to build a whole new website, but we take their current website, even the way they're marketing themselves, introducing themselves in a networking event, the way they're talking about themselves on social media.
So I would say I was a good strategic partner for you, for instance.
Probably, yes.
So I help people to go to that next level. Okay.
Yeah. So a perfect example is I had a woman who left a big PR firm. She started her own boutique small firm. She's her website was like her running through the woods, like trail running, and it says we go the extra mile. And I'm like,
That's like Diana would have that for guys. Yeah, fitness
I'm like,
person.
it's great. The image matches the words,
Mm-hmm.
but everybody says we go the extra mile. Like, what is it about you? And really what we came down to is she loves and is such a badass lady. Like, this woman is a force to be reckoned with. And she was just running through the woods. I'm like, what? And now you go to her website and it's this beautiful picture. She's focusing on crisis PR management. That's where she thrives. She loves doing it. So that's what I kind of do, is like niching down, honing in on your messaging.
Mm-hmm.
Where should you focus in your business? And let's
Yeah.
create that digital presence that makes
Yeah.
you look as badass as you are in person.
I agree with that fully. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So,
How many seconds does somebody land on your website and decide if they're staying or not?
0.05 seconds.
Whoa. I thought it was like a handful. But 0.05 seconds, they'll be like, yes or no, I'm in the right place?
Well, it's either, I mean, they vary,
Crap.
but I've seen everything from 0.05, 0.07 seconds in which they make their first impression.
Amazing.
So not how long they stay on your website. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why and I come from a visual background as well with TV, and I know how incredibly powerful visuals are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm big on that.
Amazing. Okay. Very cool. Website, please.
Just laurafravel.com.
Okay. Anything specific? I'll put it on the bottom.
Okay.
Anything you want us to share specifically online?
I do have a freebie. I call it's a challenge I started, which I ran once, I need to modify some because it was a lot to undertake for me. It's called Dare to be Seen, and it is 14 days. I might smush it down to like 7 days, where you get prompts on social media prompts, which you can do on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. It is really meant, or it really targets women, probably 40 and above, who have a hard time. What do I say? How do I say it on social media? And it's not necessarily about mastering some social media platform. It's more about trying to find your voice and put yourself out there. So getting over the hump and just starting to do it. So it's half prompts on what to say to help you, and then half kind of the technical issues, like you want to go post a video, here's how to do it, and that type of thing.
Very
so I would
cool.
I have a landing page. I'm not sure when I'm going to launch it next, but people can join the wait list. I think I'm going to launch it in late August or early September. So I could send that to share.
Okay. Yeah, I like your idea of shortening it and automating it.
Yeah. I need some tech help.
Yeah, you don't want to drag out I'm really interested on opting in all the way to you can make an offer.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
Well, this has been fun. Does everyone feel good about what they've shared? Is there something you're like, darn it, I should have said something or other? Are we good? Jill, Chris, Susan, Trina, Dawn, Laura. All of you have each other's websites. You all have each other's LinkedIn profiles. And you've been taking notes on each person. So make the connections either through direct messaging on LinkedIn or via email, and post online. Is there a certain platform everyone prefers for sharing? Is everyone I think most people said LinkedIn, but some didn't indicate. Where's your audience? LinkedIn?
Mm-hmm. LinkedIn, Facebook, yeah.
Okay. All right. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can I ask, what is the expectation to, like, I'll happily post, and a lot of your messaging resonates kind of with my female audience. What is the expectation of how soon posting people's content, that type of thing, or posting them on your?
Yeah, I would suggest you do it within a few days, because, it's just I'm a get it done person. So I know Dawn wants Trina wants her new website posted after it goes out August 1st, but that's, just don't forget about her. But yes, everyone's expected to post something about everyone, and everyone's expected to make one introduction for everyone. All right. So it's kind of like, remember those chain letters when we were kids? Somebody broke the chain and didn't send out the recipes or stickers. Screwed it all up for everyone. Don't be that person. Oh, so my Above the Crowd Intensive starts on August 3rd. It's a 5-week program for building your online platform as an expert. It works through my signature system of building confidence, credibility, connections, and visibility, and then does an introduction to scaling. And then the very following week, so there is no gap, my Above the Crowd Mastermind begins on September 8th, which is a 6-month program. So who is in the intensive right now? Chris and Dawn. Yes. And in the mastermind, Dawn and Jill. Yes. Awesome. And Trina, you're in the intensive.
Yeah.
Okay. So jamiebroderick.com for more information. Any parting words, people?
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, this was great.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Great group.
Thanks, Jamie.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.